It's Bobby Riggs.
Bobby? How'd you get my number?
Called every hotel in San Diego. Listen, I had a great idea.
Okay. Well, it's after midnight, Bobby, so can we talk another time?
You and me, Billie Jean. 3 cents, 5 cents, your choice.
Are you drunk, Bobby?
No, of course not. How about this? Man versus woman. Male chauvinist pig versus hairy-legged feminist. No offense. You're still a feminist, right?
No, I'm a tennis player who happens to be a woman.
That's right. That's exactly who you are. And I am a tennis player who happens to be a man.
Simon, I wondered in terms of attacking this story, which is quite an American story, how you sort of went about that.
Well, it's got universal themes. That's why, to me, it could be told anywhere, really. But I had to go straight to the source to be able to tell the story and get not only the permission, but the cooperation of Billie Jean. And she was incredibly generous and gracious about somebody making a film about very intimate parts of her life. She understood immediately you couldn't just make a tennis film. The whole world doesn't want to see a tennis film, but it might want to see a film about somebody struggling with the big issues in life, and that they stretch across every continent, really, about love and about fairness and equality, and being trapped in a place where you can't be who you are.
And for you guys, in terms of your familiarity with the subject and whether you knew it was something that actually was known around the world, how did you work with that?
Well, I think we were very interested in the personal story of both Billie Jean and Bobby, and that's what Simon's script did so beautifully, is that, you know, there are many documentaries that point out the kind of timeline, but this was an opportunity to go places that no documentary cameras ever traveled to. And you know, the election in America was coming up, and this sort of felt like the right time to tell the story again.
Although it was very interesting because we previewed the movie before the election, and it did fine, and then we previewed it after, and it just, the response, even in the room, you could feel the difference, just how people were kind of viewing it. So, unfortunately, I think it's still very much, the issues that she's dealing with in this movie haven't changed enough.
So we've got such a great platform at the minute, because now people not only are showing interest in diversity, but they're actually financially investing in diversity. And whatever their motivations, it doesn't really matter. But to be able to take advantage of that everything that's in this film is such a, I hate this, but hot topic. Great. Let's fucking talk about it.
Is there something that this film can change? Will it help reignite these kinds of conversations?
Well, actually, it's interesting you say that, because I think what we love about Billie Jean is that she loves to engage in a dialogue and not be a polarizing figure. Actually, if you see her speak, she's a very, inclusive person. She loves to bring everybody into the conversation, and I think that was our intention with the film, was not to sort of make it polarizing, but I'm not sure that's possible in our country anyway. But I think that was the idea. Like, it's interesting when she confronts her opponents. I mean, one of her, principal theories is to respect your opponent, and I think that's what she does so well. She confronts them, and she has a conversation, engages with them, instead of just sort of name-calling and, forcing it into sort of a black and white argument. She's very adept at that.
How do you see Marilyn's role in Billie Jean's life?
She's a sort of hybrid, isn't she? Wouldn't you say? There was so little information on her, really? And I've played a lot of people who existed in it. It was just difficult to mine real bits of information, people talking about her or pictures or anything. So it was like chasing a ghost in a way. But I think she embodies the freedom and the liberation and the free spirit of the early 70s. And that's how I saw her.
She helps Billie Jean kind of get to know herself, or an aspect of herself. And I think, so we saw her as a real positive force, and because we were dealing with a very limited time frame, we just decided that was kind of what was important about that relationship.
It's a very complex love story.
Yeah.
It's not one with a necessarily terribly happy ending. I mean, Billie Jean always said when I took the script to her, she'd keep picking it up and putting it down on the table. And I go, what's the problem? She said, it's tough, it's hard, it's painful to read. Because I was in love with my husband. I loved him. But I was also gay. And I was having an affair with another woman. And it was tough then, and it's tough to read about it now. So she was having her very own internal battle, while there was a very public kind of binary battle going on in the outside world around her. And that's a very interesting space to explore, I think.
So did Bobby Riggs come around sort of just at the right time for her? I mean, you know, if that was her thing, social change, then he was the perfect foil, right?
I think at the time she probably wouldn't have seen it that way. But I think now, you know.
They stayed in touch, and in fact, just before he passed away, she called him, and they both kind of acknowledged that together they were a real force for women's equality. And so I think he accepted that role, and she pointed out that he helped make it happen.